It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the movies of July 20th, 1994. 3 movies to look at, so let's just get right on into it. We'll start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, and that is The Client, based off of John Grisham's novel, directed by Joel Schumacher, and starring Susan Sarandon and Tommy Lee Jones.
Come in, Mark. Hi, Mark. Sit down, son.
I need a lawyer.
What for?
To protect my rights.
You got nothing to hide. You don't need a lawyer.
Jerome Clifford wasn't really dead when you found him, was he, Mark?
We know you were in that car, Mark. You ever hear of obstruction of justice, Mark?
If I don't answer your questions, I can go to jail.
Maybe.
You're right. You do need a lawyer.
How many cases have you won?
More than I lost.
How much do you cost?
How much you got? Did you attempt to interrogate my client outside the presence of his mother?
No. No, definitely not.
I need a lawyer.
What for?
To protect my rights.
You boys attempted to interrogate a child outside the presence of his mother without her consent. And if I need anything from you boys, like the truth, well, I expect to get it.
I want that kid in court and on the stand, manana. You hear what I'm telling you?
They're taking me to jail.
Well done.
You get anywhere near my client again without my permission, I'm going to sue you and the FBI for civil rights violations.
We playing big league hardball here, Miss Love. We got to get our hands on that child before the mob does.
Why should he talk if we can't protect him?
You talk to the feds tomorrow, I'll kill you.
Have we played enough games here?
What did Roman tell you in that car?
A man lies dead by his own hand, yet this boy remains silent.
I wasn't in that car.
You both know he doesn't know anything.
We need to talk to this child. We know more about your client's actions than you do.
Sometimes being strong means asking for help.
I don't know nothing.
You've got until 3 to start telling me the truth.
I'm scared.
Here you have yet another really good movie based off of a John Grisham book. It started off with The Firm, and then The Pelican Brief, and now we have this movie. And for Joel Schumacher, it's one of his best films, honestly. It's a great legal thriller. Susan Sarandon and Tommy Lee Jones give these great performances. You got Brad Renfro in a really good role in this movie. And the court case is very interesting. The situation is very interesting. The dramatic elements work out very well. You do want to know how this is going to pan out in the end. Like, how is this going to turn out? And for anybody who's never read the book, like myself, finding out what it is at the end that eventually saves the day actually is kind of interesting. Like, it's something I didn't really expect to see in a movie like this. Like, it isn't necessarily a groundbreaking legal drama, but it's still a pretty damn good legal drama. I remember the previews for this as a kid, and those are those ones that just stick in my head for so many years. And long after that, I finally got to see the movie, and the movie definitely lived up to all that promise to it. It was a great film, great acting all around, great legal drama, just a great film overall. I can't recommend this one enough. The Client, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. So, with that said, let's move on to the next movie, and the next movie is Lassie.
Of all the creatures on this earth, there is one that has touched the hearts of children everywhere.
Lassie? Come on, Lassie. Wow. Is that our farm?
It's the story of a boy
I don't want the kids to grow up in the city. You know, I'd like them to walk home at night and not worry about what's behind them.
who locked away his feelings.
It's not like the city, you know? We're both gonna be short on friends here.
And the dog.
That was totally awesome! I'm not kidding!
Who opened up his heart.
Hi. I'm glad we came here, Dad.
A father's struggle to succeed.
I pulled my kids out of school for this job.
And a family determined to save their home.
Honey, it's gonna be fine.
Stop! Don't shoot! Hey, mister, that's my dog.
You tell your daddy Sam Garland said welcome.
Let's all make Matt real welcome, because he didn't know anybody around here.
What is it, girl?
From one of the most beloved tales of all time comes the year's most thrilling adventure.
Come on, you dog. Come on.
Paramount Pictures presents best friend man ever had. In a new movie every family can share.
I love you.
Lassie.
I mean, honestly, it's kind of hard not to fuck up Lassie, and, hey, at least Norm Michaels didn't do that. He was, of course, the producer on this movie. Of course, he's from Saturday Night Live. And, the movie overall is very good. It's a solid film. It's not a great film. Like, it's not a classic film I can watch over and over again, but when I watched it, I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad I saw that there were some good moments to it. It definitely feels like a retelling of Lassie in a modern era, in a modern setting. Like, you have this character that's been around for so many years. How do you update this character while also keeping him mostly the same? Like, really, there's not really much you could do with him. He's a dog, this dog that they have in this movie has a lot of personality to him, and he works very well with the cast they've got here. They've got a very good cast here that includes Helen Slater, John Tenney, Frederick Forrest, Richard Farnsworth, Michelle Williams, one of her early film roles, and it's a cute little film. It's a cute film. It doesn't do anything necessarily strong or groundbreaking overall, but it's a fun little family film. It's one that I'm glad I saw, but again, it's not one I'd watch on repeat over and over again, but like I said, I'm glad I saw it. So that's Lassie, and hey, I'd rather watch Lassie again than our last movie that we have here, and that is Rob Reiner's infamous North.
My control in this life is who our parents are. You dealt the hand, you're stuck with it.
Pants, that's what I know. I know pants. All kinds of pants. All kinds of pants.
Dad, let me tell you something. Mom?
It's not like baseball, where if you don't like the deal you have with one team, you can become a free agent and try to get a better deal with another team.
Free agency.
If you want my advice, go home, make up, and goodbye.
What a scoop! I keep becoming a free agent, then going around offering his services as a devoted son to the highest bidding set of parents. I'm proud of you, kid. You got a lawyer?
Let's get cracking. He is not physically in the arms of either his new parents or his original parents by noon on Labor Day. He will be remanded to an orphanage. And if any of you has ever seen the Little Rascals, you know that's no day at the beach.
So North was on his way to find the perfect parents.
Well, hey, howdy, North.
I know what you're thinking. Big call, right? Everything I own's the biggest and the best. That's why we'd like you to become our son.
Here you go, North. Nice cup of hot cocoa. And to go with that, our state dish, Eskimo pie.
Hey, what do you know? The salmon are running.
Sure, living in Paris would be great. But there's always a hitch. Meanwhile, things were heating up at home.
Just because you were born 25 years before me doesn't make you smart. It doesn't make you right. It just makes you old.
Aren't I naughty?
It just makes you smell worse in the morning.
You realize North will never pull this off.
He's North. He can do anything.
His folks are gonna fight it.
Of course they are. They're not gonna take this line down.
What you're looking for?
Hey, it's you.
Trust me, I'm not me.
What are you? Some kind of guardian angel?
An Easter bunny.
I mean, how the hell does Rob Reiner, the man that gave us This Is Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, A Few Good Men. He makes all these great movies. He's got a great track record, and then this movie comes along. This movie is notorious for Roger Ebert saying that he hated this movie. Hated it, hated every simpering, stupid, vacant audience, insulting moment of it, hated the sensibility they thought that anyone would like it, hated the implied insult to the audience, the belief that anyone would be entertained by this. Basically, I just plagiarized what he said, but that's really how I feel about this movie. This is a movie that's so terrible on so many levels. You waste a great cast that includes so many names in here. I think it's one of the biggest all-star casts they've ever assembled here. You got Elijah Wood, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Jason Alexander, Bruce Willis, John Lovitz, Alan Arkin, Dan Aykroyd, Reba McEntire, Kelly McGillis, Graham Greene, Kathy Bates, Abe Vigoda, Faith Ford, John Ritter, Scarlett Johansson. You get the idea. This cast should have been more than enough to carry a movie over its obstacles, but nope. Not this film, and it gets worse and worse, and by worse I mean racist, because not in the saying of racist like calling a black person the N-word, no. This movie goes to the stupidest and downright offensive ways to get a cheap laugh. Every single parent that North comes across in this movie as replacements are all stereotypes, and not just stereotypes, really bad stereotypes. You've got Dan Aykroyd and Reba McEntire as the couple from Texas who wear nothing but cowboy boots and over-the-top colorful wardrobe because fuck it, they're in Texas, and their obese son died in the stampede. That's literally one of the jokes they have. And you got a couple in Hawaii who decide the best way to promote fertility in their town is to place the butt crack of this little boy. Like, there's a scene where they put up a billboard, and they put up a thing where North is completely naked, his butt is showing, and it's supposed to promote fertility in the town. Which, why would that do that? Like, oh, and it gets worse. There's a part where North goes to visit an Eskimo family in Alaska, and they live in igloos because they're Eskimos, and that's pretty much all we need to do about that. And let's put Kathy Bates in some, I don't want to say blackface, but let's make her look more like Graham Greene. And worst of all, the scene where Abe Vigoda is sent out to sea on an ice floe so that he may die with dignity. It's just like, what were they thinking when they made this movie? I mean, it just gets worse and worse with every single scene. I just don't get it. Like, Rob Reiner is such a top director, and you gotta figure, like, what was he thinking when he made this movie? I mean, the plot, I think, could work, but the fact that somebody with the caliber of Rob Reiner made this movie, a man who's been nominated for Academy Awards for directing and writing, that's the biggest flaw of the movie. There's so many elements in here that are there, but Reiner basically just said, fuck my credibility, I need to make one really terrible movie in my career, because evidently that's the law in Hollywood. You get to make one bad movie, and I guess that's something that every director does nowadays. So, North really is one of the biggest stumbles of all time. You got this great cast, this great director, a decent plot, all wasted on bad story development, huge continuity issues, just downright offensively bad comedy. You could say that most kids movies from your childhood hold up for nostalgia sakes, but trust me, this really is one of those movies that, regardless of how it gets, will never be remembered as anything but what it was. A steaming pile of shit. And the sad part is, I've met people who actually like this movie. I know friends of mine on Facebook and Twitter and through social media that have said, hey, maybe I was being too harsh on it. And I guess, hey, to each their own. You want to find something good about it, that's fine with me, but I'm sorry, man. North is just a stupid, stupid movie. It's a terrible movie. Just a mess on so many levels. One of the worst movies of all time. Definitely in my top 16 of my least favorite movies of all time. It's just horrible, horrible movie. Horrible movie. Horrible movie. And on that positive note, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, we'll wrap up July with some better movies, including Jim Carrey in The Mask. We also have Nicolas Cage and Bridget Fonda in It Could Happen to You. We also have the horseback family drama, Black Beauty, and also Barcelona. So 4 movies to look at next time. We'll delve into those on the next episode. But until then, thank you very much for watching. And if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page. Check out the previous episode. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. And until then, as always, take care.